Welcome to this episode of In the Workshop. Today we're going to be talking about the new Craftsman Mach Series Ratchet. This is a 3/8" drive adjustable ratchet that features a pivoting handle, and here's how it comes right off the shelf at Sears or Sears Hardware. And so we're going to just go ahead and take this off the packaging and throw it off like that. If we take a look at this ratchet, at the front of the ratchet here we've got where the head pivots 270 degrees, so you can then pivot your work ratchet either way around the socket. It's a 3/8" drive. At the top of the socket, or the top of the ratchet, we've got the adjustable here to flip it from forward to reverse. And then we've got a spinning collar here, and the spinning collar goes with the adjustable drive, because if I pump the handle, I can spin the ratchet just by going like this without actually having to rotate the handle. So this is advertised to work well in close quarters. And then on the ratchet handle, you'll see, if we look closely, there's an arrowhead here for forward, lock, and reverse. So now if I flip it over to reverse and I pump the handle, you notice it's going the other way. And now we're going to take a look at this in use. We'll attach a 3/8 drive socket, and we'll take a look at how well this actually works out when used on an actual fastener. Now we've got a workpiece here set up in the vise on the workbench. Here I've got two 1/4" holes drilled in the workpiece here. This is just a piece of scrap wood. If you look at it from the other side, there's nothing special, and we can see the holes go all the way through. And the dovetails, you see the top, that's just some scrap end. And now what I've got is in my ratchet here on the Mach Series ratchet, I've got just a standard 1/2" socket. And I've got a lag screw here that I'm going to try to go through the hole. I've already obviously drilled the pilot hole all the way through. And now we'll see how well this works with the Mach Series ratchet. So I'm going to go forward here. I'm going to start off by flipping the switch at the top up here to the left for forward. And I'm going to flip the switch at the bottom all the way over to forward. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, this is going pretty well. No problem. Now, let's try and see how well this works in the This is working much better if I just twist my hands when I put this into the fully extended vertical drive. If I rotate the handle and then give it a twist with my wrist, rotate the handle and twist with the wrist, it seems to be working for the drive. But the actual zip action from the drive for driving this screw in does not seem to be working very well, but I can still give this a twist with my wrist. And now if I change the handle here over to the lock position, then I should just be able to twist this here, and now the ratcheting is all based right here on the head. And this handle is no longer extending along the length of the shaft. So now if I go ahead and pull this back, flip this back to the forward position, now we can see where this handle will rotate along the shaft, and then will come back out. Now it's important that on the head here has to match the same direction of travel. So now if I sit here and I try to ratchet it by spinning the head by the handle of the socket from this point here, I can either try to push it, which if I pushed it should look like this. That's not enough to be able to drive this through. I still got a couple threads left here, so if I want to spin it at the end without turning it into a conventional socket handle, I'm going to flip the dial on the handle to the lock position, and then I'll just spin it like this, and the ratcheting is still based at the top here for what is listed as being a 72-tooth ratchet. And now I've got the bolt already sunk in. And now to take this back out, let me take the head here and flip this over to the right for reverse. And then I'm going to take my handle here and flip the handle also over to reverse. So I can do that. Now I'm trying to push it again in reverse, and it's not actually budging the socket at all. Perhaps that would work better if this were a loose machine screw, but not a small lag bolt going through wood. So I'm going to flip the handle here back over to the lock position. And now I can just use this just like a ratcheting screwdriver with no problem. Or I can put this into a conventional mode. And because of the pivot on the head here, I can work around other obstructions. Or I can work this again like a ratcheting screwdriver. And the bolt comes out just like this. Just for comparison, then when I take the socket on the end here, see where the socket end here flips around. It goes perhaps about 270 degrees or so, give or take a few degrees, and then the end pops off. There is no easy push button to remove the socket off the square drive of the wrench. You just have to be able to pull it off. If I use my standard ratchet, there's the push button at the top here that I can push in, attach my socket, and now I'll drive the same fastener back through the other hole I didn't use. And this just goes through like this, and I can spin this here with my one finger as I drive it, or I can use the ratcheting action to drive the bolt with no problem. So when I compare the effectiveness of a standard 3/8 ratchet to the new Craftsman Mach series ratchet, the biggest difference I see is that it's actually longer, and you can use it in combination screwdriver mode. Or perhaps if you had a machine screw or a machine nut, you could actually then bolt this on if you had a longer socket to at least get it closed before having to tighten it up and put it back into ratchet mode, that you could use it just in the push drive mode like this. But actually driving a fastener like that does not appear to work very well. It's nice here at the top because this rotates freely. When I push this in to drive it, it allows it to not grab my fingers, and to hopefully avoid any blisters on the hands. It seems well thought out, although the plastic piece up here on the head of the ratchet, a little concerned about how durable that'll be, as well as how well it'll hold up on the rest of the way. Only time will tell. It's an innovative concept, it's interesting, and maybe in the right applications it might be useful to you or someone else you know. One final tip on the Craftsman Mach series ratchet: if you'd like to have it stored in the shorter version, just by simply going to the lock setting on the handle, you can shorten it down. And when shortened down, it is approximately about 9 inches from the end of the ratchet up to the head. If I undo it, it pops up like that. See where that spirals out? And when I do that, that's approximately about 12 inches when it's fully extended. So then if I want to retract it, all I have to do for storage is push this down and then slide the here. It's a little bit of a two-handed operation to get it. And now this will store in the shorter and the non-full extension mode with the handle locked. In this position again, I can flip this over and use it just like a ratcheting screwdriver. Thanks, and have a great day.